Watch the comments. Now, when people talk about, you ask anybody, no matter where their region, give me a top 5 rappers. Pac's usually always in that list.
Right.
I don't ever put Pac up there with the top rappers.
There's a long list of people folks try to use for attention, but Ice Cube is a whole different story. When a struggling comedian started running his mouth about Cube's acting, mocking his biggest records, and even brushing off Tupac's legacy, a lot of people first saw it as another loud rant from somebody chasing headlines. But once those clips started spreading from Big Boy's studio to Vlad TV, everything changed fast. Because this wasn't just some random celebrity being mentioned, this was Ice Cube, one of hip-hop's most respected names, and people like 50 Cent were watching every second of it. That's when the whole thing stopped sounding like just an opinion and started looking like a reckless move for attention and money. Some people online even started saying the comedian was willing to say anything for a big interview check, and the backlash got wild quick. And no, this didn't begin with a meme or one IG post from 50 Cent. It really kicked off when Aries Spears came into Big Boy TV acting way too comfortable while throwing shots at Cube and disrespecting one of the most respected platforms in hip-hop.
Pac was not the greatest lyricist. He was energy. He was passion. He made you feel him. If that said tear the club up, you wanted to tear the club up. Dear mama, you wanted to hug your mama. When you think about lyricism, Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie, Jadakiss, my lyrics, spitters.
He wasn't there just joking around or promoting his work either. The way he talked made it sound personal, like he had some long-running issue with Cube that nobody saw coming. First, Aries Spears went straight at Tupac's legacy and had people online losing it instantly. He openly said Pac wasn't even in his top 5 rappers, and instead of leaving it there, he kept pushing the topic harder every time it came up. That's what really got everybody talking, because once you mention a name like Tupac, fans are gonna react fast and loud. Now look, everybody's allowed to have opinions, but people felt like Aries picked the wrong stage to say all this on. Big platforms come with big reactions, especially when you're speaking on legends that mean something deep to hip-hop culture. Folks in the comments were already tearing him apart before the interview clips even finished circulating. But Aries didn't slow down at all. Instead, he kept going and shifted his attention toward Ice Cube next, which made the whole situation even messier.
If I'm going, Ice Cube is a
Stand Ice Cube.
That's crazy.
I'm not a fan of him lyrically or acting-wise.
Online, people started saying he was trying way too hard to stir controversy for attention. And then he brought up, "Today was a good day," and that's where things really started heating up. From the way Aries was talking, you'd think he had some deep breakdown or serious critique ready, but once you actually listen close, it mostly sounds like personal dislike instead of real criticism. He kept throwing out comments like, "I can't stand Cube," and people online instantly picked up on the bitterness behind it. It came off less like a thoughtful opinion and more like somebody frustrated watching another man's success from the sidelines. By itself, some people probably would have brushed the interview off as another loud celebrity moment or a comedian trying too hard to go viral. But the problem was, this didn't feel random at all.
Really?
He's the same.
How much time we got left here? Because should I just tell him to leave now?
Let
Or?
me tell you something. Tommy Chung, comedian,
That's
Tommy
egregious.
Chung.
I know Tommy Chung.
Tommy Chung did a great joke. He goes, here's Ice Cube as a gynecologist. Hey, Miss Jenkins, I looked at your chart. Now get up on that butt.
That's racist.
A lot of fans started noticing a pattern. Mention respected legends, trigger controversy, get the internet talking, then act surprised when the culture responds back hard. And the reason this hit people so strongly is because of who Aries was speaking on. Ice Cube isn't just some actor with classic movie lines people quote online. Cube helped build the foundation of West Coast hip-hop from the ground up. From writing parts of Straight Outta Compton with NWA, to dropping America's Most Wanted, to helping create movies like Friday and Barbershop, Cube turned music, film, and business into his lane and dominated all of it. That's why so many fans felt the disrespect cross the line fast.
One of the songs I hate the most, if it comes on, I want to shoot the radio. Today was a good day.
When somebody with Ice Cube's level of history and influence gets targeted by a comedian, people barely connect to hip-hop culture. The reaction gets ugly fast. A lot of fans felt Aries seriously underestimated who he was talking about. In the streets and in the industry, Cube built respect over decades because every lane he stepped into, he delivered results. Music, movies, business ventures, sports leagues. The man kept winning again and again. That kind of track record can't be manufactured, and people online were quick to point out the difference between real accomplishments and chasing attention for headlines. Cube has also never acted like he needed approval from hidden industry circles or celebrity gatekeepers either. He's openly said before that he doesn't want to be part of any secret club or play those games just to stay relevant.
I don't know if we continue this conversation or if we're supposed to like pack him out right now.
That independent mindset is exactly why so many artists and fans still respect him heavily today. And the respect goes both ways with major names too. Back in 2008, when Cube was asked who he saw as the next legends in rap, he gave 50 Cent major praise. Then 50 responded by saying, "I want to prove something to Cube," which showed real admiration between two artists who survived an industry that's crushed a lot of careers over the years.
Some of you may not have realized that I'm not part of the club. And a lot of you listening to me right here, right now, you're not part of the club either. And what I realized with the club is what makes them so mad.
Meanwhile, people online started comparing resumes, and that conversation did Aries no favors at all. Ice Cube has platinum records, classic movies, and major business success connected to his name, while critics said Aries mainly had controversy, arguments, and a reputation for clashing with people everywhere he goes. To a lot of viewers, it looked like one man built a legacy while the other kept building drama. For people who never saw it, things also got heated on Corey Holcomb's 5150 show when Aries ended up in a serious on-air confrontation with co-host Zoe Williams. What started as jokes and slick comments quickly turned into a chaotic argument that had everybody watching in shock. The tension escalated fast, and clips from the situation spread all over social media afterward. Corey later claimed Aries came onto the platform already looking for conflict and trying to create a viral moment for attention. According to Corey's side of the story, Aries pushed the situation, lost control of the conversation, and later tried to turn the fallout into legal drama. Things became even messier when personal allegations and rumors started being mentioned publicly during the back and forth, which only made the controversy around Aries grow even larger online. Corey kept claiming that Aries always paints himself as the victim whenever drama follows him. But according to critics, the stories and public moments connected to him tell a very different story. That's why so many people online started questioning whether Aries was creating chaos on purpose just to stay in headlines and trending conversations. Then things got even more uncomfortable when Aries openly admitted certain flaws about his personal life during interviews and live appearances. He spoke about struggles with relationships, admitted he hasn't always handled family responsibilities well, and talked about wanting to focus on money and success first before trying to improve himself later on. Those comments sparked a huge reaction because a lot of viewers felt the mindset sounded backwards and selfish.
Is when you don't want to be a part of the club that pisses them off. What club am I talking about? I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with. You know who they are, and they definitely know who they are. A lot of people would be like, what, who? Come on, man, stop playing.
Aries even compared parts of his mindset to Dave Chappelle's career path, but fans online quickly pushed back on that comparison hard. Many people argued that Dave built respect through his craft and choices, while Aries kept becoming known for controversy and public conflicts instead. And to make things even louder, Aries openly admitted he goes on platforms like Vlad TV knowing drama and controversy will get attention and bigger checks. That rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, especially because critics already accuse Vlad TV of profiting from conflict inside hip-hop culture. So when Aries kept speaking recklessly about major black artists for viral moments, the backlash exploded even more.
Whatever you want to say about 50, I think he's a great MC. When he speaks, people want to hear, He's on his way to legendary status, if you ask me.
I feel like I got something to prove with him. Musically. Interview with Ice Cube, he still have potential.
So by this point, the internet was looking at two completely different reputations. On one side, you had Ice Cube with decades of respect, hit records, classic films, business moves, and real influence in hip-hop culture. On the other side, critics said Aries kept treating disrespect and controversy like a strategy for attention. A lot of people felt he crossed the line once he started speaking reckless about Cube, while major figures like 50 Cent were clearly paying attention online. Usually, legends don't even respond to this kind of noise because they don't have to. But fans started saying there's a huge difference between sharing an opinion and constantly dragging respected names just to spark reactions and viral clips. That's why Cube eventually responded and made it clear he wasn't about to let the disrespect slide quietly. And Cube didn't dance around the situation either. He addressed it directly, and social media instantly exploded with reactions. Then things got even bigger once 50 Cent stepped into the conversation too. People online said Aries suddenly realized this wasn't just internet trolling anymore. Now major industry names were watching everything unfold in real time. That part mattered because 50 has openly shown respect for Ice Cube for years. He's even said before that he watches everything Cube is involved in. So when Aries started talking wild during interviews, it wasn't just reaching one audience anymore. The clips spread everywhere fast, and now some of the biggest names in hip-hop had their eyes on the situation. 50 Cent wasted no time jumping into the situation online either.
But actually achieve having like a legendary status through music, you know what I'm saying? Like Cube had a great career, Trey, it's a few of them, you know what I mean, that really made their mark a lot. Even Will Smith took
He started posting jokes and slick comments aimed straight at Aries, basically clowning him for constantly appearing on Vlad TV, chasing controversy checks, while critics said his career had gone quiet. One of 50's posts read, "Check my temperature. I'm ice cold. The hood left the left side of my chest froze. Need help with your bills? I'll write you a referral issue. Might even get you a love contract. LOL." And once 50 starts trolling somebody publicly, social media already knows it's about to get brutal. At first glance, some people saw it as harmless jokes, but anybody familiar with 50's online antics knows those posts can damage somebody's image fast. His trolling has a way of turning public opinion overnight, and fans immediately started piling onto Aries in the comments. But 50 wasn't just joking for laughs either. A lot of people felt he was making a bigger point about respect and legacy. In hip-hop culture, going after certain names carries weight, especially when those artists spent decades building influence and respect across music, film, and business. And once the backlash started hitting hard from all sides, Aries appeared to shift his tone completely. Online critics quickly accused him of doing what they say he always does when pressure builds. Talking big at first, then trying to walk everything back once the heat gets serious.
He came up there acting fool that day. And then I walk up to his car, because I felt bad about what happened. But even though he did bring it on himself, he was talking crazy to that man. And first of all, how you let this beat you and don't swing back? But walking to his car, damn, Aries, you want me to drive you home, man? And we'll have somebody just drive your car and all like that. Because, he was, nah, I got it. I'm like, man, all right. Next thing you know, we getting letters from lawyers. I'm like.
During another Vlad TV interview, Aries tried shifting the entire conversation into something different. Instead of focusing on the disrespect people called out, he started framing it like comedians were somehow losing opportunities to rappers in Hollywood and entertainment. He tried turning the backlash into a bigger debate about roles, careers, and industry favoritism. But online, a lot of people weren't buying that explanation at all. Critics felt like he was trying to cover up personal frustration by dressing it up as a serious cultural discussion. The comments got flooded with people saying the energy still sounded bitter, no matter how he explained it. Then Aries claimed one of his issues with Ice Cube was that Cube supposedly lacked range as an actor. That statement instantly sparked more backlash because fans pointed to Cube's long list of successful movie roles, productions, and career longevity in entertainment, and that's when people noticed Aries' tone starting to shift. Earlier interviews sounded aggressive and confident, but once it became clear Cube and other major names had seen the clips, the conversation suddenly became more careful and layered. To critics, it looked like somebody realizing the controversy had reached way bigger ears than expected, and now trying to redirect the narrative before things got worse. By this stage, the whole internet could see the pressure building on Aries from every direction. What started as loud opinions and interviews had now turned into non-stop backlash from hip-hop fans, comedians, bloggers, and even major industry names. Every clip kept getting reposted, every old interview started resurfacing, and people were picking apart everything he said line by line. Meanwhile, Ice Cube barely even had to do much because his reputation was already speaking for itself. Fans flooded social media, reminding everybody about Cube's impact on music, movies, and culture for over 3 decades. People kept pointing out that legends don't usually lose sleep over random criticism because their work already survived generations of hate, trends, and industry politics. And then 50 Cent kept adding fuel to the online roasting with more slick jokes and reposts, making sure Aries couldn't escape the conversation for even one day.
You did everything to ask for that whooping, and it's on air. You said to the man something like it was like he challenged him. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to fight at my show because it brought lawyers in the mix. I had to spend money.
The internet quickly turned the situation into meme territory, and once that happens, it gets almost impossible to control the narrative again. At that point, the conversation wasn't even about acting or music anymore. It became about respect, legacy, and understanding who you're talking about before you go viral for the wrong reasons. The wild part is that Aries probably thought this whole situation would boost his name for a few days and disappear, but it completely backfired once people started comparing real influence. Because when you stack his career next to somebody like Ice Cube, the difference becomes impossible to ignore. Cube helped shape West Coast hip-hop, built movie franchises people still quote today, and stayed respected across multiple generations without constantly begging for controversy to stay relevant. And fans noticed something else too. Cube never needed to run around tearing other people down to remind the world who he is. His legacy speaks loud on its own. That's why so many people felt Aries came into the conversation with the wrong energy from the start. Instead of offering real critique, it sounded more like frustration mixed with shock value comments designed to get clips trending online. Worse for Aries, the internet never forgets. Every old argument, every messy interview, and every public clash started getting reposted again while people questioned his credibility. The more he tried explaining himself, the more critics said he was digging the hole deeper.
You know what I'm saying? To put out the fires. I don't want nobody fighting. I'm old enough to know what a fight turns into nowadays when people hit each other. So I didn't want that to happen, but Aries talked up on that whooping. And then went and got some lawyers that he gave some money to one time, and then they couldn't find him after that. His own lawyers. Aries, to be honest, man. And I wouldn't say that.
By the end of it all, the biggest lesson people took from this situation was simple. There are certain names in hip-hop culture that come with real history, real respect, and real consequences when you speak on them recklessly. And what really made this situation spiral was the timing of it all. Social media moves fast, and once those interview clips started bouncing across Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, the reactions became non-stop. Hip-hop fans weren't just debating Aries' opinions anymore, they were questioning his motives completely. A lot of people started asking why somebody with so many personal controversies would suddenly position himself as the loudest critic of legends who already proved themselves decades ago. Meanwhile, Ice Cube kept carrying himself like somebody who had already seen this kind of drama before. That calm approach made the contrast even sharper online. While Aries kept explaining, defending, and revisiting his comments, Cube's supporters were busy reposting his accomplishments, legendary verses, classic movie scenes, and business success stories. Every repost made the backlash against Aries grow even bigger. Then the internet did what it always does during celebrity drama. It turned everything into non-stop jokes and memes. People started clowning Aries for trying to punch way above his weight class by targeting names connected to real cultural influence. And once the meme pages get involved, public opinion can shift brutally fast. At the end of the day, fans felt this wasn't just about one interview anymore. It became a conversation about ego, attention, and what happens when somebody mistakes controversy for respect. What made the backlash even harsher was how easily people could see the difference between confidence and bitterness.
Out of no spite, just what he did right there, because he always used to call me to come on the show. But I used to be like, oh, this Aries, he gonna start. I ain't think, but this why I thought he wouldn't start this with me. I thought, oh, he can't do it. What he gonna do? That's what I'm thinking. What he gonna do? And then that happened. Because I know Aries beats up people. Little Aries beat, he'll run up on you.
Ice Cube built his reputation by creating music, movies, and business moves that actually connected with people for years. Whether somebody personally likes his work or not, the impact is undeniable. That's why fans felt Aries underestimated how protective hip-hop culture gets when respected names are dragged for attention, and the internet wasted no time reminding everybody about Cube's history either. People brought up how he helped shape NWA's legacy, transitioned into Hollywood successfully, and stayed relevant without constantly chasing viral drama. To a lot of fans, that's the type of longevity most entertainers dream about but rarely achieve. Meanwhile, every attempt Aries made to explain himself seemed to create even more criticism online. Some viewers said his interviews started sounding less like honest opinions and more like damage control after realizing how badly the comments were landing. Once major names like 50 Cent got involved publicly, the pressure only got bigger. By then, the whole situation had turned into a warning about how quickly things can spiral in the social media era. One reckless interview can instantly follow somebody everywhere, especially when the clips involve respected figures with loyal fan bases and decades of influence behind their names. And once public opinion starts moving against you online, it's almost impossible to slow it down. At this point, even people outside of hip-hop were starting to pay attention to the drama because the clips had spread everywhere. Reaction channels, podcasts, bloggers, and meme pages kept replaying Aries' comments while debating whether he genuinely believed what he was saying or was simply chasing controversy for attention. Either way, the backlash kept growing louder by the day. What really hurt Aries' image was that many fans felt he picked the wrong target completely. Ice Cube isn't just respected because of old-school nostalgia. He's respected because he kept evolving while still staying connected to the culture that helped build him. From music and film to business ventures and sports, Cube created a career that stretches far beyond one lane. And people weren't about to let that legacy get casually dismissed online. Meanwhile, 50 Cent continued adding pressure with jokes, reposts, and slick comments that kept the conversation trending. Once 50 locks onto a situation online, fans already know the trolling won't stop anytime soon, and Aries quickly became the center of those jokes across social media. By then, the entire situation stopped looking like harmless entertainment debate and started feeling more like a public lesson on how dangerous it can be to disrespect major cultural figures without expecting serious pushback in return. As the drama kept spreading, more people started looking back at Aries' history of public feuds and messy interviews, and that only added more fuel to the conversation. Critics online argued that this wasn't some one-time misunderstanding, but part of a bigger pattern where controversy always seemed to follow him. Every old clip, argument, and heated moment started resurfacing again, making the situation look even worse in the public eye. At the same time, Ice Cube's supporters kept defending his legacy with receipts instead of just emotions. Fans pointed to his music catalog, legendary collaborations, movie success, and influence on generations of artists who came after him. For many people, Cube already earned a level of respect that doesn't disappear because of one loud interview or a few viral clips online. Then there was the 50 Cent factor, which made everything even more chaotic.
Ice Cube was on when I'm just watching music.
Movies, all of it.
Yeah. I never really seen Ice Cube in films that weren't his. You know, like he kind of produced the vehicle that he was in. And it wasn't like he was just being an actor in someone else's film. It's kind of his movie.
Once 50 starts joking about somebody publicly, the internet usually turns it into non-stop entertainment. Meme pages flooded social media, reaction videos exploded, and suddenly, Aries found himself becoming the punchline instead of the headline he probably expected. By this stage, the conversation had completely shifted away from criticism and into reputation territory. People weren't just debating Ice Cube anymore. They were questioning Aries' judgment, motives, and why he seemed willing to burn bridges just to stay in the spotlight. The craziest part is that none of this backlash came from just one comment alone. It was the buildup of everything together: the shots at Tupac, the disrespect toward Ice Cube, the constant controversial interviews, and the feeling that Aries kept trying to provoke reactions instead of having real conversations. For a lot of fans, it started looking less like honesty and more like somebody chasing viral moments at any cost. Meanwhile, Cube's image barely took a hit through any of this because his career already speaks louder than internet drama ever could. People kept reposting legendary performances, classic songs, and iconic movie moments, while reminding everyone that Cube's influence reaches way beyond social media arguments. That contrast made Aries look even more isolated online as the criticism kept piling up. And once 50 Cent continued joining the jokes, the internet completely ran with it. Fans started turning Aries' interviews into memes, reaction edits, and parody clips that spread across every platform. At that point, controlling the narrative became almost impossible because the situation had already turned into entertainment for millions of people watching online. By the end of it all, many viewers felt the situation exposed a major difference between building a legacy and simply creating controversy. One earns long-term respect, while the other usually burns out once the headlines fade away. Now, this is the version of Aries a lot of critics say always shows up once the backlash gets too heavy. First, it's loud disrespect, bold statements, and non-stop energy toward major names. But once the pressure starts coming from fans, media pages, and industry figures, suddenly the tone changes into, "I respect him, but I still have my opinion." People online noticed that pattern immediately and called him out for it hard. That's really what this whole situation became about in the end. The difference between people who spent decades building real legacies and people who treat those legacies like trending topics for quick attention. Ice Cube and 50 Cent didn't earn respect overnight. They survived difficult industries, built businesses, created classic music, crossed into movies and television, and stayed relevant through years of challenges without constantly tearing others down for headlines. Meanwhile, Aries' reputation kept taking hits because every new controversy made critics view him as somebody always caught in drama instead of focusing on his craft. And whether people agree with his opinions or not, many fans felt the bigger lesson here was about respect and understanding the weight certain names carry in hip-hop culture before speaking recklessly for viral moments. Because if a pioneer from NWA can get publicly dragged and disrespected this easily in today's internet era, imagine what gets said behind closed doors about people who never built that same level of influence in the first place. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with others. And drop your thoughts in the comments. Was Aries just speaking his mind, or did he go way too far this time?